Okay, well, while we continue, I should say, waiting for the press conference, let's talk to Thomas Cole, who's head of policy at the pro-EU think tank Open Britain. Thomas, always good to see you. It's interesting, though, this press conference was actually scheduled for 2 hours from now. Yep. They've brought it forward. We're still waiting for it. There's the live shots there. What does that suggest? Are we expecting much to come out of round 2 of talks?
Well, essentially, I mean, it's been called round 2. Essentially, de facto, it's round 1. I mean, round 1 was essentially to agree on what was going to be agreed, or ideally should be agreed, in the various rounds taking place between now and October. And as you mentioned in your introductory piece, by which point the idea is, of course, that everything's meant to be wrapped up and get onto the second round of talks, which is the trade aspect. But the 3 key issues here, citizens' rights, the Northern Irish border, and of course the financial settlement, these are really key issues. And I would imagine from what I've heard so far, it would seem unlikely that we're going to see any major progress in these at all. And that is
because they're so key. Both sides are putting their bids in, if you will, or their point, and that's going to take a while to...
And this is concerning. I mean, on citizens' rights, we're talking about people's livelihoods. We are talking about uncertainty. On the financial settlement, of course, I mean, we haven't seen an official figure yet from either side, but ultimately this goes down to, I mean, from if you look at Liam Fox, the UK's International Trade Secretary, looking to negotiate free trade agreements around the world, this goes down to the UK's trustworthiness. And the final point of the Northern Irish border, the issue there, of course, is both sides want to avoid a hard border, with the UK leaving the customs union and the single market. Well, if you're outside the customs union, that means customs checks. You can, of course, have some kind of smart border where you do the checks before you actually hit the real border. But on the single market, this means standards. This means, veterinary checks need to take place for, agricultural produce crossing the Northern Irish Republic border. So this is really difficult stuff.
Just for our friends watching all around the world, particularly at the moment, very early morning in the United States, getting into the evening in Asia, that they're all interested in Brexit, but sometimes we throw out terms, we say the divorce bill. Just very briefly, if you can, in layman terms, what is the EU demand? I mean, why does Britain have to pay money?
Well, essentially, this is a financial settlement. So these are agreements which the UK, as an EU member state, has entered into in good faith, like all other 27 member states. Now, of course, none of the other 27 member states have had referenda whether or not to leave the EU. When the UK signed up the current financial framework, which is over many, many years, which goes until the end of 2020, it was an EU member state. It still is an EU member state, and it hadn't taken a decision at that point to leave the EU. So essentially, this is what it boils down to: commitments that a country has entered into. And like I said before, if you're going to be leaving the EU and looking to get new agreements outside, those other partners, for example, the Canadians, the Indians, the Australians, etc., they will be looking at this and saying, okay, but does the UK uphold its international obligations?
Yeah. Okay. I think we have to move on. Yeah. Oh, okay. There's the live shot. Still waiting for this press conference. What is the percentage? I'm going to get this in. Percentage, very briefly, of no Brexit happening. Britain going, okay, you know what, we made a mistake, we're not going to leave.
Well, we have seen some calls the last few weeks from certain politicians to say, look, maybe we should reconsider this. Indeed, the British diplomat who drafted Article 50, Lord Kerr, submitted an opinion piece to the Financial Times yesterday saying, whoa, hang on, we need to think about this. There is a possibility. The opinion polls are still pretty much divided. I think it's about 46, 47% each way, leave, remain. So there hasn't been that much change. But the organisation I work for, Open Britain, we've always been very clear, people deserve the right to reconsider. If that's what they want to do.
Well, that we'll have to wait and see, because it rumbles on indeed, and we'll be talking to you again, no doubt.
Thank you very much, Darren.
Thomas Cole, thank you very much for joining us there. All across the BBC News today, we're going to be looking at the pressure of childcare for families around the world, and how businesses are responding, of course, to the challenge. Now, in India, childcare is a luxury that is not available to many working-class women. Yigit Lamai has this report.